What just happened? Ladies and gentlemen, WWE has just shattered the wrestling world to its very core. I'm talking about the kind of betrayal that burns through the soul of every single WWE fan who's ever believed in loyalty, love, and legacy. Because tonight, Becky Lynch, the man, just did the unthinkable. She turned her back on her husband, her partner in crime, the father of her child, Seth Freakin Rollins, and aligned herself with the one man nobody ever saw coming, the visionary himself. But this time, not his vision, her own. A darker, colder, ruthless new Becky Lynch, standing shoulder to shoulder with Seth Rollins' greatest enemies. Hello, viewers. If you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. And before you even start typing in the comments, yes, this is real. This isn't some little segment, this isn't a prank, this isn't a tease. This was the most jaw-dropping ending to Monday Night Raw in years. The entire crowd in Kansas City was left dead silent. Kids crying, fans throwing drinks, people in the front row literally booing Becky Lynch out of the arena. And as of this very moment, the wrestling internet has completely exploded. Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, everywhere you look, one question is dominating the conversation. Why, Becky? Why? Stay with me because in this video, we are breaking down everything. The moment it happened, the hidden clues WWE planted for months, the shocking backstage reports, and what this means for Seth Rollins, for Becky Lynch, and for the entire future of WWE. Because I'm telling you right now, this is not just a heel turn. This is the start of a revolution. So let's rewind to the main event of Raw. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, a rematch from SummerSlam with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The Judgment Day are banned from ringside, the crowd is hot, Seth's in full Beast Slayer mode, and everything looks like classic WWE main event storytelling. But then, the camera cuts backstage. We see Becky Lynch pacing nervously, not dressed for action, but watching closely. The commentators even make a small note about it. Becky seems uneasy tonight. Wonder what that's about. Then, 20 minutes later, chaos. Seth hits the curb stomp. 1, 2, and just before the 3 count, the lights flicker. The Titantron glitches, and a message flashes across the screen. A new vision requires sacrifice. Rollins looks around confused. The crowd doesn't know what's going on. Then, from behind, wham! A steel chair. But not from Balor, not from Priest, from the one person no one could ever imagine, Becky Lynch herself. She drives that chair into Seth's spine, the same man she once defended with her life, and stands over him with a look that can only be described as pure fury. The crowd gasps. She stares at the chair, then at Rollins, whispers something, and the mic catches just a fragment. You're not the only visionary anymore. And then, the unthinkable. Becky kneels down next to Finn Balor, extends her hand, and Finn takes it. The show ends with Becky Lynch raising the arm of the Judgment Day, and Rollins lying motionless in the ring. WWE fades to black. The reactions, locker room and online explosion. Backstage, chaos followed immediately. Multiple sources claim that Rollins stormed out of the arena before Raw even went off the air. Producers reportedly tried to calm him down, but he was furious. He didn't even appear at the post-show taping. Meanwhile, Becky was escorted by Judgment Day security, smirking the entire way. Social media, absolute meltdown. Hashtag Becky Betrayal was trending #1 worldwide within minutes. Clips of fans crying in the audience, some calling it the greatest twist in modern WWE history. Others calling it disgusting, a disgrace to everything Becky stood for. But here's the thing, this wasn't random. WWE has been planting this for months. Let's go back. The clues, WWE's long game exposed. If you've been watching closely, and we have here on WrestleScope, you know this didn't come out of nowhere. Let's talk about the clues. First, SummerSlam. Remember Becky's promo backstage? She said, "Sometimes, to evolve, you have to burn it all down." Fans thought it was a nod to Seth's old catchphrase, but now, that was foreshadowing. Second, her social media. Over the last few weeks, she's been posting cryptic quotes, talking about vision, freedom, and sacrifice. Fans thought it was about her book or her brand. Nope, that was WWE storytelling hiding in plain sight. And third, the attire. The black and purple accents that slowly crept into her gear. Judgment Day colors. This was the slowest, most psychologically layered heel turn WWE has booked since Roman Reigns formed the bloodline. But here's the difference. This one hits harder. Because this betrayal wasn't just about power. It was personal. Why Becky did it? The character breakdown. So let's break it down. What drove Becky Lynch to do this? For years, Becky has carried WWE's women's division on her back. From her rise as the man, to her comeback after motherhood, to her constant reinventions. But while she evolved, Seth Rollins stayed in the spotlight. Every major headline was about Seth Freakin Rollins, the visionary, the workhorse champion. Meanwhile, Becky, despite her legacy, was often pushed aside. And according to insiders close to the storyline, that's exactly what this heel turn is based on. Jealousy, frustration, and the feeling that the woman who broke barriers was now being treated as a supporting act in her husband's story. In her first post-Raw backstage promo, Becky delivered an icy message. "I gave everything to him. The spotlight, the moments, the sacrifice. But when it was my turn, I was left in the dark. Not anymore." Ha, that's not a heel speech. That's a revolution manifesto. And if you look closely, this isn't Becky joining Judgment Day. This is Becky taking over Judgment Day. The way she stood front and center, the way Rhea Ripley looked at her, not as a partner, but as a rival, that's WWE foreshadowing at its finest. Mark my words, Becky Lynch is not following anyone. She's building her own empire inside Judgment Day. The aftermath, WWE locker room reactions. Reports are already coming in that the locker room is divided. According to Fightful Select, several top stars, including Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair, were reportedly stunned by the decision. They were not told beforehand. WWE kept this turn a complete secret, known only to Triple H, Seth, and Becky themselves. One source described the mood as tense and confused. Another said, quote, "Nobody saw that coming. Becky was all business, but you could feel the tension backstage." Rollins, meanwhile, has gone completely silent on social media. No posts, no statements, no interviews. And here's the kicker. WWE has reportedly pulled him from next week's live events, fueling speculation that this storyline is going to escalate in a massive way. Could we see Rollins versus Becky at WrestleMania? Could WWE actually go there? Stay with me. Fans outraged, the emotional impact. Fans are livid, heartbroken, outraged. For years, Becky and Seth were seen as WWE's ultimate power couple, the real-life love story that transcended wrestling. The fans watched their engagement, their marriage, their baby girl. It felt real. And now, WWE just tore it all apart, live on air. I've seen thousands of comments already. This crossed the line. Becky Lynch just became the biggest villain in wrestling. They ruined everything beautiful about their story. And you know what? That's the point. WWE wants you angry. They want you hurt. Because for the first time in years, they have created real emotional storytelling that blurs the line between fiction and reality. This is bigger than a title match. This is marriage, betrayal, heartbreak, and it's all happening under the brightest lights in sports entertainment. If this storyline continues with the intensity we saw tonight, WWE may have just found its next bloodline-level epic. The vision has begun, and it's led by Becky Lynch. So I'm throwing the question to you, the real WWE universe.